Okay, so we're joined today by an amazing artist, Sophia Marie. She's just released her latest single, Femme Fatale. Fantastic track. If you haven't checked it out yet, go and listen to it. Go follow her on all the usual places. She's done absolutely wonderful stuff. So, Sophia Marie, hi, how's everything going?
It's so nice to see you. Thank you so much. Super excited. Right now I have finals for my senior year at Georgetown, so it's been kind of crazy, but I'm so excited to talk about music because I released my music like right before I had to start just cracking down studying and everything, which has I felt like I don't know, it's good to give it the attention that it deserves. So thank you for speaking with me today.
Ah, you're welcome. We've been looking forward to speaking to you. As I said, your latest track, Femme Fatale, is absolutely fantastic. Can you tell us about your thoughts now that that song is actually out there?
Yeah, I've been so excited for Femme Fatale. I wrote Femme Fatale when I was studying abroad in Ireland. Um, so that was like the fall of 2021. And October it was like I don't know, kind of almost approaching that Thanksgiving kind of cold, but they don't celebrate Thanksgiving there. But it was just like very, I don't know, it was darker ambiance. And I had this like penchant for just like going out in the streets when it was like really dark and just like listening to music. And I had dealt with heartbreak. So I wanted to write a song that was very much like a ballad, with a little more melancholic sound to it because I'd felt my songs before had been very upbeat, very pop, almost like bubblegum pop. And those were really fun to do and fun to release. But I really like fun to record, but I really wanted to get something just a lot more exploring with I think more melancholic themes. So I had just dealt with heartbreak and I was like, I don't know, sometimes when you get your heart broken, you engage in this kind of immoral behavior in terms of like you get become really flirtatious. You want to get attention from people because the person you like is not giving you attention. And so you become kind of like this, I don't know, this like fun loving person and very extroverted, but in the center of it, it's all just like this very sad. You're just sad because this one person that you like love doesn't want to be with you. So I that song was really inspired by that. And then I went through like lots of like readings of historical like iconic figures and femme fatale like iconic people in literature and films. At like Trinity's bookstore, there was this book by Alexander Fils de Dumas. So it's like Alexander Dumas' Fils, his son. And it was the book that inspired Moulin Rouge. And so like Satine, I was thinking about this kind of like courtesan in French history, but literature. And then also thinking about Cleopatra and kind of her relationship with like men and love and heartbreak. And then also the Helen of Troy and how like thematically, I think in the past, I was reading this thing freshman year of college, but just how women can be seen as like the downfall of men. And it was a very sexist thing in the Middle Ages to believe, but also like playing on that and feeling being like, yeah, I'm just gonna assume this personality now because I'm so sad. So that was kind of the inspiration behind it, and it all kind of came together in a nice way, and then revising the lyrics over and over again to make sure that it's saying what I really want it to say. That was kind of a long-winded explanation, but we can dive deeper into that.
Oh, I mean, I love the track. I've just said that like half a dozen times already. Um, and I love the attitude and the feel of it, and how much of your character is actually fully reflected in the song. How much is that sort of based on
Yeah,
reality
I know.
or
Yeah,
stretched a bit?
it's a really good question. I think that sometimes it's fun to act out this character, and sometimes you're just like, yes, boys are in love with me, but it's because you're just like really sad. I don't think you crave attention, like an inordinate amount of attention, if you're not feeling a little insecure in yourself. And so I recognize that the song is kind of like satirical, and it's not supposed to be like. I mean, obviously, it isn't totally accurate representation because I'm not getting chosen by someone that I love. So, I'm not like this. It's like I feel sometimes I feel this way in which sometimes, you go on dates to forget about people that you used to like, and you try to fall for someone new. But I think it sometimes can leave you really lonely. And at the end of the day, you're just thinking about the one person you kept thinking about. And so I wanted to write a song about that, but also have it be kind of fun and inspired by like characters that people would know, and attitudes people would know. I think there's a lot of relatability with people that are just like, I'm gonna forget about him. I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna have fun with my girlfriends and just meet some new person. But if that person was special, then it's difficult to replace him. So that's what the song kind of deals with. I would say it's pretty realistic, but more exaggerated for the fun of it. I think all songs are kind of exaggerated.
Cool. And sonically, how would you describe it?
Yeah, it was really interesting because so I worked with my producer from Los Angeles. I'm from Los Angeles, and I just started. So I just started learning how to play the guitar right when COVID hit. So I had never learned how to play the guitar before. So that was really when I started writing music. Was the summer of 2020, right when the pandemic started, and I was kicked off school, and so went back home, took lessons with my sister's guitar teacher, and was like, oh my gosh, I can write songs with just these chords I'm learning. So I reached out after about writing 70 songs in a year to this producer that I had seen in a magazine, and we got to chat, and he was wonderful. Steve Ornest at Total Access Recording Studios in Redondo Beach, in Los Angeles County. He is incredible. And so for this next EP that I was working on with him, this one that was recorded just this past summer, so summer of 2022, my first one with him was summer of 2021. I really wanted it to be a little more mature, obviously, because I've grown, lyrically more intense. And then for Femme Fatale specifically, I was like, I want strings on this. I want it to be more Lana Del Rey. I don't want it to be all fun loving. I want it to really be about how I'm feeling. And so that's kind of what I brought into this. And it's so fun working as a producer because, like, he just brings his entirely amazing talent, independent talent to the project. And so he gave it like an 80s feel to it. Like it almost is an 80s disco with the drum starting. And it's amazing. And I loved it so much. And I would never have thought that would be, because I love that kind of sound. Like I listen to a lot of musicians with that sound, but I had never like considered it for the song. But to have that with this like melancholic lyrics and a ballad like, and then the strings coming in at the end, it was so beautiful for it like all to come together. And I died, and I was like, yeah, this needs to be the single. I didn't think it was going to be a single. I really didn't think it was going to be a single. And then I heard it, and I was like, nope, this is a single, definitely.
Right. It sounds like so the first time you heard that back, it must have blown you away then.
Oh my God, yeah, totally. Because, like, I mean, when you're working in the studio, and I had, like, amazing people working on the track, we got, like, we have a violinist, a cellist, we had bass, drummer, because I don't play those instruments. I play guitar, an electric guitar, and sing and write, but I can't, play all the other amazing instruments that you want for a track like this. So in the studio, you can hear, you're like, I know this is going to be really good. And I remember this part on the Femme Fatale bridge, this bass part that I was just dying over. I was like, I can't wait. But, you don't see it totally fully actualized until, my producer in Los Angeles, when I was studying, politics in Georgetown, he sends me the track via a WAV file, and I'm just like hearing it for the first time in the streets of Georgetown, just being like, oh my God, this is insane. And I write emails to Steve. I'm like, Steve, this is so incredible. I love it so much. But it's funny because like with all the producers I've worked with, I've only worked with two, but it's like I'm always studying, and then they're like through the tracks, it's always like through email. They're like, here it is. So it's like we have this like distance physically, like geographic distance, which makes my like, I'm kind of in the dark for a little while, and then I'm like, oh my God, so good. But obviously you can collaborate and like, say like, oh, I want this thing. I'm thinking this more for the track. But, when you're not like with them in the same geographic space, like 24/7, I'm like studying my stuff, and then I get a break and I'm like, oh my gosh, my songs are totally ready. It's so much fun. It's amazing to have that. And I'm so grateful for that.
Cool. I mean, you mentioned the EP a moment ago as well. So you are working on an EP. Where's that up to at the moment?
Yes. So I've recorded all the songs for the EP. I'm really excited about that. So my first EP, Foreigner, came out spring of 2022. That was the first time I had my EP come out. And then this one, that stuff was recorded in um, summer of 2021. This one, I just recorded the 3 songs for the EP summer of 2022, and that will come out early next year. I'm thinking very early. I'm an incredibly impatient person, so I just like to have things out because I don't know, when I'm listening to my songs, I'm like, I want everyone to like know that I have these songs. Like for Femme Fatale, it was just crazy because I was just like, I want everyone to listen to this song now. I was so happy for it to come out. But now these other ones, I'm like so excited. And the other ones are so different and about totally different themes. But an interesting part about all the 3 songs is that they're all related to like study abroad experiences. So I haven't really selected a title. I've selected a preliminary title, and I'm thinking it has something to do with like study abroad, muses, foreign. I know it's kind of it's always a trend in my music to talk about like foreign countries and different places I've been. I just find it very romantic. So I'm really excited for this next EP. It has songs that are so different from Femme Fatale. There's a return to that kind of previous fun-loving, very central pop theme, but also a more acoustic countryer sound with a mandolin on another track. So I'm super excited. I'm so excited.
Right. Have you faced any particular challenges in this EP?
This particular EP, I would say, I guess not knowing which one is really the tone of the EP. Like, I guess it was hard for me. I felt like Foreigner had a very cohesive theme because foreigner, you could take it as in like, foreign countries, but also like I'm a foreigner because I'm from the West Coast, Los Angeles, going to Washington, D.C. So that was all what my debut single, Venice Beach to D.C. was about. And then with Narcissist, it was about the DC dating scene. So that was like, a foreign thing to, put yourself in an environment of. It's a foreign environment, being someone from Los Angeles and also being someone that didn't really date people until college. So, I felt like that thematically had a cohesive element to it. This one was a little harder to find that. And I felt that instead of trying to force things to have a theme, the theme itself can just be the fact that like all these experiences were during some kind of study abroad, were doing some kind of geographical major distance from my home. And even though like the sentiments in the different songs, there's anger, there's hope, there's desire, there's love, there is desperation and destitution and isolation. And it's like, what is the commonality there? Maybe there doesn't need to be a common sentiment. We're complex people, and the common sentiment can just be the fact that these were all spurred from being away from home and being in the UK, in Ireland, in London, where's the other one? In Florence, Italy. Oh my gosh. Yeah, one of my songs is all about the birth of Venus, the painting by Botticelli, because it was one of the most like watershed moments of my life. I was obsessed with it, and I had to write a song about it. So I think that would be a difficulty in this EP was that an overarching difficulty in all the music I'm doing is just the fact that I'm also a student and I'm like dying with work all the time. But I wouldn't have it any other way. It's so much fun, and it's great to like write essays on like Russian oligarchs and counterintelligence operations, and then just be like, okay, time for music, time to sing about loving this singer that's a guy and who's hot. Like, it's just very dichotomous, and it's fun to have that existence about me. I feel it's fun to do that.
I was going to ask, how do you balance it? You seem to have so much going on between music, studying. How do you find the time for everything? And how do you sort of manage it in your own head and sort of not have a meltdown?
Yeah, no, it's true. I think it's honestly really great because I found music, I think of it more as an escape and more as I don't know how to describe it. I guess music is the thing that I would want to do on my free time from studying. like if I wasn't studying and I wasn't doing music, I mean, if I was studying and not doing music, I feel like my free time would be like, you know, reading a book or watching TV. And I do try to read sometimes, but it's like we do have lots of time in our day to fit things that we want to do, I believe. And so, you know, when I'm done and I'm just like, I can't work anymore. Like, there's no ability for me to keep looking at the screen and writing this essay. I'm like, okay, now it's time to break for like an hour and work on a new song and just play with my guitar. And I have a problem too with capitalizing on my interests. I feel like my hobbies, I always want to, like, exploit is a bad word, but I want to capitalize on my interest. Like, I'm like, oh, I like to write the song. Let's make it into a song that I can record later, instead of just like enjoying it for the sake of enjoying it, you know?
Yeah.
And when I write something, I'm like, oh, this can be something I can include in my book, or this can be something that I should publish out to the world or something. You know, I find it hard to just enjoy something for the sake of enjoying something. So that's an overarching challenge I also have to deal with. But I felt the balance aspect, like, yeah, obviously I don't have time to play and do gigs. I've only done really one, like, oh, I've done two actually. I did one with a college group as well. So I've done some like open mics and stuff, but I haven't done like, you know, performing in clubs or like more restaurants that I would like to do. Um, but that's just because all of my like research projects and stuff. But I think that this next semester, when I'm back and I have less on my plate, and I'm not applying to grad school anymore, I will have more free time to do that. But it's been wonderful. Like, I don't think I could survive my studies if I didn't have the outlet of music. And so I'm really grateful to have both experiences, you know, at the same time.
Cool. And obviously you're an independent artist as well, which brings
Yes.
with it freedom to do what you want to do
Yeah.
without the pressure of a label sort of saying do it this way, but also it brings with it all that extra work. And so
Yeah.
how do you find dealing with all those, sort of pulling everything together yourself?
Yeah, no, it's definitely difficult and requires a lot of I think, like, self discipline. So I think it's really fun. I feel like I really like curating things for myself. But just like an example of that, like for my EP and for Femme Fatale, I had to come up with, you know, get a photographer, get a graphic designer, get all that stuff, take a perfect picture that I'm really happy with. Um, and so that's something like I get to curate, and I'm glad. I'm like, oh, this is what I want to do. This is what I think the art look, artwork would look so cool this way. I want the font to be this. I want it to be like in the Femme Fatale cover art. It's like me with my hair done, so you don't have to schedule like hair, stuff like that. Schedule the space at Georgetown. We did it in the Lounger Library, our library's production studio, which was great. Had amazing like backdrop. I talked to Georgetown Photography Club. I was like, hey, do you like a photographer I can like pay for just like an hour to just take shots? And then he's amazing. I love him. We get along so well. We even did another shoot for my, you know, new singles and EP coming out. So I'm super excited. So it's fun to meet all these people. And also with that, you know, like this film producer just randomly reached out to me via DM and was like, hey, do you want to shoot a music video for your song, for one of your songs? And I was like, narcissist, let's do it. And I was like, yeah, you know, like I was like, yeah. And so now we have two directors on board. He and I are the producers of it. We're writing like scripts to make sure it's cool. We have a cinematographer, we have a production assistant, we have other cast members. We had to do auditions, doing my studies and promoting my music and making new songs. It's like there's like a lot of stuff, but it's so fun to be in an environment where people want to be creative with you, and it's fun because I have so much freedom, and I'm so glad I have this opportunity to do it. No one's telling me I can't do this. I can't do this music video with this person who's like a year older than me. You know, I can't just randomly take photographs and see things online and be like, oh, this is the aesthetic I'm going for. Like, I get to just do whatever I want. It's great. It's so fun, you know, and obviously ask for critique from other people and my friends and my confidants, and also obviously just want to keep learning. But I just mean that, like, when I'm inspired by something, I'm able to be inspired by it, and I'm like, I want to do this. I want this music video. I want this aesthetic. I want this kind of vibe. And then when you work with people, you know, they bring their own independent, amazing advice to the table. and it's wonderful. I think it's so fun. But yes, it is a lot of work, and it has made me. I don't watch TV anymore. I have no time. I'll watch when I'm eating food though. I'll like when I eat food, I watch like Saturday Night Live, and I watch like some Netflix. There's a really good show on that I really need to watch. But like only when I'm eating. When I'm not doing that, I have something to do. I'm so dead. So much work.
I mean, you must listen to some music for relaxation as well, I imagine. So,
Yes. Oh my gosh.
what
Well,
do you reach
actually, I
for?
love going on walks. I love going on walks. I will listen to every time I walk. I cannot not have my headphones. If I don't have my headphones on, I feel naked. So every time I walk, these headphones are like lifesavers. I listen to all this music, and then I'm like, oh, I want to make music like this. Ethel Cain and Caroline Polachek, my new ones, and of course Lana Del Rey is just always on top. But yeah, music is relaxation, but like walking with music is my favorite. And walking at night with headphones, you have to be careful, but beautiful. I love it.
Amazing. And I saw on Instagram for us today, for you, it was last night with time difference. You posted a
Yeah.
poll asking about your next single.
Yes. Yes. My next single. Yes. I love asking people like what they want. It's so fun. You know what's so crazy about this whole experience is that like so I was studying abroad in Ireland, and I was away from Georgetown. And then I came back to Georgetown, and I released my music January 10th, my first ever song ever, like released to Spotify and all streaming platforms, January 10th, 2022, and it was Venice Beach to DC. And then I come back and I go to parties, and people are like, "Oh my God, are you Sophia?" And they're like playing my songs, and I'm just like, they're like, "Oh, you're the girl of the song," and I'm like, "Well, this is so cool!" Like, and so it was so fun because I was like, "Oh my God, it's just a community here that like really cares about my music, even if they think it's cringe, at least they're listening to it. So I was like, okay, like I feel like this is so cool. Like people actually like enjoy my music, and it's not totally horrible. So I did a poll because I was like, I love hearing the input of people. And I love when people are like, oh my God, your song is so good. Or I relate to this song more. Or I like What a Waste better because it's more, dramatic and sad. And my other friend, he like loves 80s music. So he's like, oh my God, love Femme Fatale. It's so good. It has like that late night driving vibe. And
Yeah.
so, or someone was like, oh no, Narcissus is your best song. So I'm like, okay, I want like everyone to be like in on this. Like, what should my next single be? And I'm very open and vulnerable as a person, and that's even more exacerbated on Instagram. Like I'm very, very open about anytime I'm sad about some guy, or like anytime I have a celeb crush, or any like all my writings are literally public. Like I write some really personal things. That's kind of being an artist. So I just love to ask people like, what do you want to hear? Do you want to hear a mean song about an ex-boy band member, or do you want to hear a beautiful song about Botticelli's Birth of Venus? Like tell me, let me know what you think. Right now the poll is saying a song about Botticelli, which is honestly kind of weird. I did not expect that, but I don't know. I
That's
might override though, because I'm the judge at the end of the day.
Yeah, that does surprise me. I thought everyone would go for the mean song every time.
Yes, right?
I mean,
Literally.
you mentioned like being personal there. Obviously, music is incredibly personal. You draw from your own experiences. Do you ever feel sort of like really under the microscope when you're putting your music out there, saying, "Hey, this is exactly how I feel. This is what I've been going through."
Wait, sorry, did you say, do I ever feel what?
Under the microscope, like really
Oh,
exposed,
yeah.
like this is how I feel.
Yeah. Yeah, I think initially there was a time before I really went on this whole discovery. Like I don't know, I changed so much over COVID. Like I don't think I can't like I honestly cannot recognize myself. And I don't think it's just because I've grown up, and growing up you just become a different person. From the age of 18 going to college, you become different. Like I really changed from like when COVID sent us home. I was like very, I don't know, I was very like numb, not really like, I don't know. It was very like a period of just like emotional like this, just like working in like stable, like kind of a static numbness. And I just felt like I wasn't really living. And so when I turned 19, honestly, like everything changed. When I went to London for my first time by myself, I finally like met, a guy that I was like obsessed with. Like I don't know, I felt like the world like really opened to me when I turned 19. And it's like I can't recognize myself before that. And so I think I used to be more cautious about like what I was putting out there and who I was. But I was just like, no, like I become really very vulnerable. And I don't I'm not like vulnerable in an aggressive way, like I'm gonna tell you everything about myself right now. But if you want to know, I'm there. It's kind of that way. It's like I'm not going to burden you with who I am unless you go looking for that and you can really discover like who I am. I think that's how I want to lead myself. Is I don't want to be over prescriptive in vulnerability. But if someone wants to know me, they can. And I've made that available through my music and through my writings and stuff, and through my Instagram stories. I need to get off social media, but it's hard. Literally, you have to use social media to promote music these days, and it kind of sucks because it's so unhealthy. And I hate being on my phone, but at the same time, I have to do it. But yeah, I think it is true. You're under a microscope, but I just don't think I care anymore. Like, I don't know. I'd rather make a really song that I really think is true to me and people can relate to, than not be under the microscope, I guess.
Yeah, no, I completely, it's a fantastic thing to do. I completely agree with you. So you've got Femme Fatale's just out, new single coming soon, and the EP coming beginning of January-ish.
We're thinking, well, next single will definitely be in January, maybe early mid-January, and then EP definitely be like in February at least.
Cool.
I want it out soon.
So beyond those, what do you have planned?
Yeah, I also have my music video, so I've been recording a music video. We're totally doing this independently with another fellow film director and producer. And so that's been super fun. We filmed already this important scene in it, and so we have to like film like for another probably 2 more days of filming, and we're probably done with the shoot. It required so much work in the beginning, like what is this going to look like? What do we want the cast to be like? What do we want, audition processes? We had to do like script and casting calls and crew calls and just trying to get anyone that was interested. We're just like, yep, you're on board, let's go. So it's been super fun. I just did a short film with also a girl like who was a production assistant working on our music video with us, and she's like, hey Sophia, do you want to do a short film for this class I'm doing? And I'm like, yes, let's do it. Like I feel like I'm just always open to anything, which is so fun. I'm just like, yes, let's go. So yeah, that's also coming. Super excited for that. And then I definitely want to do a music video for like my next EP, because Narcissist is off my first EP ever. So that was released a while ago. But I think Narcissist is a song that needs to be set in DC and the music video needs to be done here because it's about DC men archetype. And so I'm like, we need this music video out there. And also just like applying for grad school and stuff, hopefully in England. Fingers crossed.
Brilliant.
Sorry. So working on that and finishing my finals and finishing my senior year at Georgetown, which is going to come to an end in May of 2023, which is insane. So yeah, those are next steps for me. Of course, creating new songs, hopefully doing like gigs for real. Next semester, I'll have less responsibilities on me because I just did this like student like strategy team with Jew and student politics at Georgetown, which was great. I was working with this amazing Pentagon correspondent for the Washington Post. But I think with the senior spring, it'll be more about what I'm doing next and a little less work placed on me, so I have more time to go out to concerts, have fun with my friends, and play gigs and play live, which I really haven't done before, like in a really intense way. So I'm super excited for that possibility next, and just creating more music and putting more music out there and hoping people enjoy it, and hoping that turns into something.
Sounds like it's going to be an incredibly busy time for you.
Yeah, it's gonna be so fun though.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm so excited to go home.
Thanks. Cool. Well, thank you so much. It's been absolutely lovely talking to you. So the single's out now. Everyone go and check it out. Follow Sophia in all the usual places, all the streaming sites. An absolutely wonderful artist. We very much look forward to the video, the single, and the new EP.
Okay.
Cool.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it so much. Yeah, so on all stream platforms, Sophia Marie, go listen to Femme Fatale. I'm so excited. And keep updated with my new projects. Thanks so much.
Awesome. Thank you.